the I double back, which I don't advise that you do. When you leave a situation that's toxic, just stay out. But of course, we all live, we learn, and your girl doubles back. I double back to the situationship guy, and it's not smart. Don't do that. um, so the situationship guy comes over. We hang out. Y'all get the gist. We hang out, and I start telling him, yeah, like this is what happened. It's
Talking to him
crazy.
about it.
I cut.
This is why this makes no sense. Logically, let's put on our thinking caps. I don't have a cap. I don't have a cap near me, but let's use our thinking caps. Thinking hood. So, you had a guy who didn't want to commit to you. Told you I don't want to commit to you, but you enjoy his company, you enjoy dating him. You get mad because he doesn't want to commit to you. You then go sleep with another guy who didn't want to commit to you. Why does this make sense? Mr. Legendary! We're back, and you're talking to Mr. Legendary. I'm so grateful to be back to who I am, doing what I love, what I want to, and talking about the things I want to talk about. We're not going to keep giving y'all the rundown on what life has been like being Mr. Legendary. It has been hectic. But I eventually, I hate when I hear those videos when women are talking about, they had to take time and find themselves and explore, but I understand. This period has been about a 2 to 3 month period of me just learning, figuring things out, realizing who the hell I was, realizing what I'm capable of, and understanding that I can do it. And sometimes I amaze myself. Without further ado, we're back, and we're going to jump right back into this coaching lifestyle. Today, well, let's rewind. I have been having some conversations, and I have been talking to people about men and about the way men show their love and the way men show things through actions versus speaking. The reason this conversation became prevalent is because I noticed a lot of females were more so paying attention to words that were being said versus men's actions. And a lot of this came from a lot of the fuck boys. A lot of fuck boys and a lot of conversations that I had were about the way certain men would speak their love. And then I were having conversations where a lot of men would show their love. And unfortunately, we got a lot of women who pay more attention to words and the fuckboy speaking than the actual men who show their love. I am a prisoner of being able to not properly communicate and speak the love and the emotions as much as other people. I'm a heavy believer in showing through actions. I'm a heavy believer in you just watching how I move and watching how I treat you and understanding that that's the way I show my love. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to read a poem every day. I don't need to preach about, how much I just love you and want to be with you. I just show you by being there, by asking you to go out, by taking care of you, taking care of my house, making sure you don't need anything, making sure when you call me or need anything, I show up, I give, I take care, making sure if you with me, we don't need for nothing. I'm a huge shower, and I'm a terrible talker. And unfortunately, a lot of women have penalized me for doing such. So I said, you know what? We need to talk about this because this is really important. And I would like to I watched the video on a story time. So what we're gonna do is break down the story time. There's actually two videos. This first one is gonna be very, very long, but it's very, very detailed. And it captures a lot of the emotions, and the woman who's explaining it is very detailed. She gives everything that I was looking for in the video, even though it's long. It's really detailed and really to the point on everything we need to cover. There's two videos I want to cover because there's two different topics of how this relationships went, and I really want to go over both. So what we're gonna do is probably just go through a part one today, and then we'll do a part two tomorrow. But the first video, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to bring that up now. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and give a shout out to Lindsay P. She is the person who's doing the story time in this video. She has a YouTube channel. Because she was so honest, hey, I'm definitely going to go ahead and give a shout out, possibly posting her link in the section below so you can see the original video. And again, it's very long. We're going to go through the whole thing. I'm not going to edit it. I am starting from like 3 minutes in just to skip a little bit of the backstory and try to make it a little bit shorter, even though I'm talking through it now and making it longer still. But we're here. So get you some water. I hope you all stay for the entire video because it gets so detailed that I didn't want to skip parts, and I wanted to show all the actions and everything that led up to ultimately where she's going to go in the story. I'm not going to give any spoilers. We're going to go ahead and start playing this now. Let me give a quick rundown. She's in college. She started working at a job part-time while she was in college. She's just now meeting the staff and everything now.
When it came to events, staff meeting, planning, all of that good stuff. So it comes to my first staff meeting and I meet the team and Michael is there. I meet the team, I get to know everyone, they introduce me as the new leasing agent, and quickly we've kind of become like a fast friends work cohort. We start going out after work for like drinks together.
Listen, she's gonna talk about red flags, but I'm gonna tell y'all red flag number one: do not get too comfortable with coworkers. We already have to be around each other while we're working. The last thing you want to do is have to be around these people all day while you're at work, and then start being around them all day when you're off. Me personally, believe this is a terrible thing to do. I want to keep my work life separate from my personal life, so I tend to not involve myself with coworkers too much because sometimes it just becomes, too much being around people. When we're seeing each other for the mandatory 8 hours or so at work, then we're seeing each other as soon as we come home. This is why I'm a firm believer in not working at the same place as the people you're seeing. I don't believe in personally getting in relationships with people that you work with. Having your woman work for your company is different. It's not what I'm speaking about. I'm talking about we're both employees working someplace like a leasing office or warehouse. I'm against it, completely against it.
Eating dinner together, going out to the bars and stuff like that together on campus, and just hanging out with the people that I work with. So very quickly, people kind of start dropping hints that Michael is interested in me. And y'all, the first red flag is your initial reaction to someone expressing interest to you. Initially, your girl was not, I wasn't interested. So that was the first flag. I should have just trusted my initial gut feeling of like, I'm good on that.
Why?
Don't need that.
Why?
He just wasn't my type, y'all. Like, I like them a little rough around the edges. I like, just a little bad boy energy. And Michael was real, he was real square. He was real straight, narrow. Like, he just was not typically what I go for.
Again, I respect the fact that she's honest in the video. I really appreciate that because that's one of the reasons why I chose this video out of all the story times and all the things that I watch, because she was so honest. But that is the craziest. These things that women speak about are some of the craziest things that I've ever heard. The fact that somebody was too straight and too narrow for a college student, for a woman who's in college. Look, she looked like right now that she carries herself with some type of class. And the fact that a guy, a regular square guy, can approach you and he's too square and too regular for you because you want a little rough, you want a little thug. And this is so crazy to me. And it gives regular men a reason to become fuckboys. Because you got regular guys who are thinking, they hear women saying, we want to be treated with respect, we want to be treated like this, and we want a man to approach us regular. And then we hear things like this from women who aren't ugly. She looks good. Women who look good, and they say things like this, and we're like, dude, what the? So I shouldn't be regular. I shouldn't come with respect. I should come a little rough around the edges because I've heard this from. This is not just a one-off. This is not the minority of women. This is a lot of women I've heard, especially in my lifetime, saying we don't want regular. We want the roughneck. We want the tough guy. We want the bad boy. That's the red flag. Because y'all are letting guys know that we can't genuinely just be ourselves. We can't be nice. We can't be gentlemen. And then what they turn around and do is they'll get these roughnecks. They'll get these guys who are bad boys, and they want them to treat them the way the gentleman would. So you want a roughneck to come into your life and start opening doors and treating you with respect and bringing you flowers, and it never mixes well. This is why most relationships go to shit, because we got a bunch of women out here picking wrong. We want the roughnecks, we want the bad boys, but we also want you to treat us like a gentleman. This never mixes. Men can't be both. It's very rare. That's a unicorn, which I still have never seen it. You can't be both. You can't have both. This is why women's expectations are high. This is why relationships and marriages are so low. Because what y'all want and what y'all need don't mix. But let me not go too far.
So everyone's telling me, you should give him a chance. You should give him a chance. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know. But everyone is just, hyping him up, telling me how great of a guy he is, and that I really should give him a chance. Now, Michelle, the woman he's now married to, was one of those people. So she also worked at the property and kind of was a part of that friend group. And one night
I'm sorry, I needed her title of her story is Storytime. My ex married the girl he cheated on me with. So she already kind of exposed that in the beginning, that her ex ended up marrying this girl, Michelle, who they all worked together with. So I just wanted to go that. And she also put in her story, red flags he doesn't want to commit to you. That's another reason I wanted to explain this. I don't agree with the well, they are red flags. You can call them that, but actions speak louder than words when it comes to men. Most men will show you how they feel about you, what they want from you, and what they're planning to do with you. Most of the guys who tell you and aren't showing you at the time they're telling you are more than likely full of bullshit. I'm telling you that right now. This again, coming from a man, I'm giving away game. Because I've been that guy before to tell some shit, and I had no intention on being what the fuck I was saying to these women. Like, yeah, I want you. I want to be with you. I'm telling you I want to do this. And I had absolutely no intention on doing this stuff. But I wanted to keep them around. But let's keep going.
All went out for drinks, and I kind of was sharing, not all. I went out for drinks with the group of women. A couple of us worked at the property, including Michelle, and then it was her roommate and just a couple of other acquaintances. Mm-hmm. So after the bar that night, we're all hanging out in one of the girls' cars and just kind of talking about our guy dilemmas, having a little girl chat. And it's my turn to speak, and I kind of explained to them, I just got out of this situationship. There's this guy, Michael, who I hear is interested in me, but I don't know if I want to date anyone right now. Everyone in the car is telling me no, we really think you should give, Michael a chance, including Michelle.
Before she go into it, I do want to give another lesson about when choosing to try to pursue a relationship. A lot of y'all don't know why y'all want to be in a relationship. Looking for love is not a reason to be in a relationship. This is one of the most untrue things I've ever heard. And when you go in a relationship seeking love, it opens the doors for you to get so many other things instead of what you truly need. What we need to do is narrow that down a little bit more. And I know the ultimate goal is to have the person love you and you love them. But what you should be doing is going into a relationship thinking about what you need from the relationship, not just love. Love is not a reason. You can get love from your family. You can get love from friends. You can get love from a dog. This is why Kevin Samuels kept saying, go buy a dog, because you can get love from that. But most of you women go into relationships seeking love and forget that, oh, I also need stability. Oh, I also, I have it mandatory that my guy is monogamous. Oh, I also need somebody to take care of me. I need a guy who's going to be a protector. I need a guy who's going to take out the trash. You think that you can get the love first and then start looking for these other qualities in a man, when what you should be doing is enter a relationship knowing what you want from the man and the relationship, getting what you want, and then making sure you give that person what you want. Stop seeking love first. Seek what you need or want first, and then start worrying about the love. The love will come. I don't believe in this, love at first sight shit, because it's stupid. Because you can love someone and still hurt them. You can love someone and still not want to be with them. So we got to start saying, okay, I want a protector, I want a provider, and I want a manly man who's going to be able to fix my car when I'm done with that. And then we can start, once we get that, we get into it with this person, we start meshing, and we can worry about the love shit. Stop worrying about going into relationships because we have things in common, or I believe he's just a great guy based on what they're saying is a great guy. What do you want from a relationship? Do you want some great guy based on what's her version of a great guy? Or you want somebody who's going to be a little rough around the edges? If you want that, you're already getting into this the wrong way, because you're going to go into this with the mindset that I really want this, but I'm settling for this. And most of those end bad. Let's not get too far into it, because we're going to get into this a little bit more as she goes on in the story.
So I'm like, okay, it's one day, you guys, I'm pretty sure you've been there. After you get out of a toxic situationship, you start questioning if you really know your type, right? Like, if you keep attracting the same type of men, like, maybe you should give someone who isn't your normal type a chance. Like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem.
I agree with what she's saying, but again, this ties back to what I just said. You need to figure out why you're in a relationship. Most women today, most of these modern women are dating because these men, these bad boys, these rough around the edge guys give them tingles. And they say, okay, I got those tingles. I need to go be in a relationship with him. And they tie it into horoscopes, and his sign matches mine, and they said they were compatible, and I got the tingles, and I think I love him, and I'm really attracted to him, and they forget, damn it, I really have a thing for men that are monogamous. I really have a thing for men that only want to be with me. But you done got with this bad boy who gives you tingles, and he has absolutely no intention on only being with one woman. He has absolutely no intention on fixing your car. He has no intention on being there when you have a kid. He has no intention on even being a father. But because he gave you tingles, you said, let's give this a shot, and you forgot that you really need a person who's going to be a father. You need a person who's only going to be about you. This is not about love. We got to push love to the side and start worrying about what we need and what we want from a person.
Sabotaging myself. So maybe I don't know what I want. Let's give this a chance and see where this goes. So I go ahead and give Michael a chance. We go on our first date. We went to the movies on a double date with myself, Michael, James, and another one of our coworkers. And it was a good time. We had a good time. And one thing I will say about Michael is he really was a perfect gentleman, y'all. Like, this man opened the door for me every single time, pulled out my chair every single time, paid for every single date, always made sure that I was walking on the inside of the sidewalk, like just truly a gentleman. And now saying that out loud, like those are the bare minimum things that you should be expecting from a man who wants to date you. But at that time, you know, Lindsay, back then, I had never had a guy treat me so well. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, for me, he's rolling out the red carpet for me. So Michael and I began dating.
I really, again, I appreciate this, and I'm gonna say this probably a couple more times because I really respect the fact that she's honest in her videos, and I hate doing videos of women who I think that are being dishonest, but I really respect the fact that she was honest and had never experienced this. So a lot of we get into these relationships, and this is for men and women. We get into these relationships and we start seeing things that we've never seen before, and we get excited. It's exciting to give us tingles because he's doing things or she's doing things that we had never experienced before, not knowing that these are things that are supposed to be mandatory when dealing with a person. But again, now we're going to go over to the women's side. Because women are dating for love and tingles, she's never required a man to open a door. She's never required a man to be a gentleman. And because she's dating for tingles and based on, you know, she wanted a roughneck, she never had a man to open a door before. So when you get that, it's like extraordinary because we're dating wrong. Here, we could stop it right here and be done with it. But that's not even the topic of this show. But anyway, you gotta know why you want to be in a relationship and then pick based on what you want and why you're doing this. Same reason with work. We need to know why we want a job. I want a job because I want to be successful and I want to make a lot of money. So I need to pick a job that's going to make me successful and make me a lot of money. And if I don't, I'm not going to be happy with what I'm getting. And probably is going to end up seeking a new job. This goes with people in relationships. I want a woman who's going to be submissive and take care of my house. If I don't find this, I'm probably going to end up looking for a new woman at some point. Pick better.
Keep going on dates. We keep hanging out with this group of cohorts, and we kind of become known as a couple, even though we're not officially together yet. People kind of start calling us the Barack and Michelle of the property because we both work there, both kind of well put together people. People are like, yep, you guys are a match made in heaven. But we're still not officially dating. So we continue to get more serious, and Michael expresses that he wants to be exclusive with me, but he doesn't quite want to date just yet. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to insert. Every time there's a red flag, I'm going to just go ahead and put it right up on the screen. Red flag number 2. This man wanted to take me off the market but didn't want to officially commit. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It makes all the sense. Again, I need you to understand. That's why I keep saying this. Why you're dating. Because you end up with guys like this and you constantly start saying, well, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. Because to him, in his mind, I'm not dating somebody to take them serious. I'm not dating somebody that I plan on marrying. I'm dating someone that I want her to be exclusive to me, but I don't want to be exclusive to her. He could have easily said, I'm ready to make you my girlfriend so that we can be exclusive to each other. And this is another space where I don't want to get y'all too off topic and too complicated, but women, y'all got to give men the ability to be honest with you without judging or saying that it doesn't make sense. This makes perfect sense. He's telling you exactly what he wants from you. He's saying it. And you're penalizing him or saying that it doesn't make sense when it makes perfect sense. I want you to be exclusive to me, but I don't want to be exclusive to you. Period, point blank. A man. Most men will show you what they want from you. These are actions and words mixed together because he's showing you, I don't want to commit to you, but I want you exclusive to me. I want to have the right to have your vagina. I want to have the right to have access to you and have access to other people. He told her this, honestly. And it's up to you to now decide how you're going to take that and how you're going to take this man. And a lot of y'all don't. Y'all hear it and go in one ear and out the other, and you're like, did he just say this to me? No, he couldn't have said this to me. There's no way he meant that. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. But you have the option to say no. She could have walked. They're not even in a relationship. She could have easily said, no, I'm not for that. We're gone. We're done. Just let it keep playing.
I entertained that for a little while.
Ha!
And then maybe like 6 months into it, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, are we going to be together? Are we not going to be together? Because you want to take me off the market. You don't want me talking to anyone else, but you're not committing to me. And I wasn't down to just be talking to somebody for the next foreseeable future.
Why would you do this for 6 months? Who does this? And again, this is where I have the problem, because you had the choice. He told you, honestly, this is what I want from you. You can take it or you can leave it. She chose to take it for 6 months and then have an issue with it. You women, let me take this away from her. You need to do this from jump, especially when a man is being honest with you. You can choose to say, no, I don't want this, and leave it alone. But stop accepting situations and stop accepting people for what they are and then being mad at what they are. He told you and then showed you for 6 months what he was about.
Because I just left a situation where I was doing that. Either I'm gonna be single or I'm being in a relationship, but this half step in between, I'm like, you can keep that.
And she get all the props for saying that. Let's find out if she's stuck with that.
So I made that very clear to Michael of like, listen, if you don't want to be in a relationship with, it's fine. Like, we don't have to be in a relationship. Like, we could just be friends, but I need to know so that I can exit stage left. Michael, you guys.
Red flag again on her. Stop waiting on someone else's reply or response to dictate how you move. You need to move however the hell you need to move, regardless of what someone says to you. Words from men, let's bring it back to women. Words from men mean shit. Most of men will show you exactly what they're about and what they want to do with you. Probably gonna say that again, but I need to let that be known because that's the point of this video.
Yes. Pretty much flat out told me all the reasons why he didn't want to be with me. Like, after I kind of just had that strong conversation with him, I woke up to a text message of a laundry list of everything that he didn't like about me. This man was pretty much was like, here is why I don't like you, and you'll never be my girlfriend on a platter. Y'all, can you just imagine?
He showed her for 6 months. I only want to deal with you as somebody I'm dating. I don't want to take you serious. He showed her this for 6 months. Then he told her again, honestly, this is why I don't want you. At this point, ladies, if you're in any kind of scenario like this, you're forcing it. He has told her from jump, this is what I want. For 6 months, he showed her, this is what I'm about. This is what I want. When she tried to get a reality check from him, he told her again, this is why I don't want you. She had so many chances to put a requirement on herself. She had so many chances to go on and seek better treatment. But one of the reasons she didn't is because she didn't know what she wanted from a relationship. So, because this guy more than likely is giving her the tingles now, even though he wasn't her cup of tea at first, he's probably giving her the tingles now. Maybe it's the way he treated her. Maybe it's the fact that he was different. But because she didn't have a goal in mind, when you don't have any intentions, when you're not dating with intention, when you don't have the intention, hey, I'm dating because I want A, B, and C, and all you're saying, well, I just want to date because this is the person that gives me tingles, you end up in situationships like this. Put a standard on your body, put a standard on your vagina, and make requirements from men. No, you cannot continue to see me past 1 month if you're not going to give me A, B, and C. This is why that's so important to make sure you know why you're being in a relationship. She did not know, so she stuck around for 6 months after she just got dealing with another guy doing the same shit again because you still didn't learn your lesson.
Waking up and someone being like, you have too big of a personality, you you always want to talk about things. Girl, this is why I don't like you. But then pursuing you for the last 6 months, it just was like,
stop. He did not pursue you. Again, she still, even to this day, she still didn't catch it. She still didn't learn her lesson. She still didn't learn what she needed to learn. He did not pursue her for 6 months. He liked having access to you for 6 months. He had access to you for 6 months. And then he told you why I won't commit to you. That's not the same shit. He wanted you around more than likely for the sex. Because at 6 months, I'm sure he was hitting. Let's just be real.
Okay, noted, sir. It's cool. Like I said, we don't have to date. Like,
Right.
No harm, no foul. I've enjoyed getting to know you. Like, it is what it is. Because in reality, I just feel like he didn't like who I was as a person.
I agree.
So why he was pursuing...
And in reality, he showed her this. He showed her exactly what he was about and why he didn't like her. And this man told her. This is where I can't give you guys any slack. You had a guy come to you and told you, honestly, it's not what I'm looking for. I don't want this. 6 months later, he's literally saying it again. This is what I'm saying. I don't want this. This video should be over. There's still a whole nother hour left of her talking. So clearly, this is not where it ended. It should have ended here. There is no coming back from someone who you dealt with for 6 months telling you this is why I don't want you.
Showing me news to me. Once he gave me that list, of course I was hurt because at this point, I did like the guy. We had a good time together, but clearly you just told me everything that's wrong with me. So, and not in a constructive way. It was just like, I'm telling y'all, I wish I could go back and reference the text messages. Obviously, I don't have them. But it was just like bullet point after bullet point of like, this is what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong with you. You don't check this box. You do this. You do that. And this is why I don't like you. And this is why I haven't made you my girlfriend. I basically was like, okay, I got the message. It's very clear now. So I'm going to go ahead and exit stage left. And this entire time, the guy from my past situationship is still trying to pursue me. He's still trying to get in contact with me.
Words mean things. Women, I need y'all to understand that pursuing a relationship with you and pursuing your vagina are not the same thing. And because you use the word pursue and you're not giving any context to it, she's giving the impression that this man is pursuing her to be with her. This guy who had her in a situationship before that she chose to leave because he didn't want to commit to her and take her serious is pursuing her to get access to her again. Not to take her seriously. He just wants that access back to you and more than likely to your vagina. Stop mixing them up and understand what a man is showing you, because the guy in the past already showed you he doesn't want to commit to you. You moved on. And now he's showing you that, hey, I want access to you again. And you're using words like pursue and not being specific. He's pursuing your vagina, not pursuing your relationship.
Trying to drag me back into that nonsense that was that situationship. And I've just kind of been curving him, once I decided to give Michael a chance to see where things would go with Michael. And the entire...
Men, understand there's always guys in her bucket list, friend zone, or in the waiting area. There's always men. They always have someone waiting to take their chance at your woman. at the person you're seeing. There's always going to be someone there. Understand this. Women just do it. And I do these shows and I speak about women's nature and I speak about men's nature, but I need men to stop getting mad at things that women do, especially this. What we need to do as men is understand that women do these things, like keep men in their friend zone and keep men around them as orbiters, so that when they get pissed off at their man or they get mad, they always want that plan B near and dear to their orbit, so that they can just reach out, grab them, and bring them back in. They love this. They're going to do it. Accept it. Don't get mad about it. Accept it, understand it, so that now we can know how to beat it. Now we can know how to deal with it.
Entire time, Michelle is in the background like, yeah, girl, you guys are the perfect couple. I'm rooting for you guys. Y'all are definitely made to be together. Yada, 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 yada. So Michelle is just really hyping up our relationship. Her and I are developing a friendship. We're hanging out together, getting lunch, doing all this stuff. Like, we're developing a friendship. Once he sends that text message, that same day, my ex situationship person hit me up.
Of course.
And so I'm like, okay, well, clearly things are done with Michael. My ego's a bit bruised. And at this point, your girl just wants to go where she's wanted. I'm like, clearly you don't want me. This man is still chasing down my tail. I'm hurt. Like, I just want to feel wanted.
And this is why I said men got to understand this so that we can know how to deal with it. Because unfortunately, when you piss a woman off, and this is why they say, I forget the saying about the woman scorned. Nothing worse than the wrath of a woman scorned, something like that. I forget. But when you deal with these women who feel like they have been scorned, most of the time they feel like they need to go get that attention from somewhere else. And that's where they have those orbiters. Let's grab him, let's grab this one, let's grab this one, and let's let them in. And then that's where their emotions come into play. And once those emotions come into play, there is no logic. The things that they do once those emotions get in play, more than likely will make no sense even to them. And they will continue doing it even though it makes no sense. Let's let her talk, and then I'm going to tell you why this makes no sense.
So I double back, which I don't advise that you do. When you leave a situation that's toxic, just stay out. But of course, we all live, we learn, and your girl doubles back. I double back to the situationship guy, and it's not smart. Don't do that. So the situationship guy comes over, we hang out. Y'all get the gist, we hang out. And I start telling him, yeah, like this is what happened. It's crazy. I cut you.
This is why this makes no sense. Logically, let's put on our thinking caps. I don't have a cap. I don't have a cap near me, but let's use our thinking caps. Thinking hood. So, you had a guy who didn't want to commit to you. Told you I don't want to commit to you, but you enjoy his company, you enjoy dating him. You get mad because he doesn't want to commit to you. You then go sleep with another guy who didn't want to commit to you. Why does this make sense? I'm going to go deal with a guy who already had a chance at me and showed me he doesn't want to commit to me because this guy doesn't want to deal with me or commit to me. In reality, what she's seeking is commitment and not getting it from either guy that she's sleeping with. This makes no sense. But because we got emotions and because we don't have intentions and because we don't even know why we want to be in a relationship in the first place, you get dumb scenarios like this. And she still didn't understand to this day, whenever she did this video, I can't remember when it was, she still doesn't grasp why these things happen. It's because you didn't even know why you were doing these things.
You off for 6 months. This is what this guy presented, and then all of a sudden it was like, boom, you're trash of a woman. I don't want to be with you. Situationship guy, of course, is like, this is crazy. Like, you don't deserve that.
Wait a minute. 12, 17. I need to rewind that a little bit because I want to make sure I get what she just said.
Off for 6 months. This is what this guy.
A little bit more.
That's toxic. Just stay out. But of course, we all live, we learn, and your girl doubles back. I double back to the situationship guy, and it's not smart. Don't do that. So the situationship guy comes over. We hang out. Y'all get the gist. You know, we hang out, and I start telling him, you know, yeah, like this is what happened. It's crazy. I cut you off for 6 months. This is what this guy presented, and then all of a sudden it was like, boom, you're trash of a woman. I don't want to be with you.
He showed her this for 6 months. Let's be clear. Stop making it like, this is why I say she didn't really learn the lesson. But we're not making it like he showed her this out of nowhere. He had already been showing you this for 6 months, because it doesn't take a man 6 months to understand whether I want to be with you or not, or whether I want to commit to you. He has 6 months of showing you, I don't want to be with you, I don't want to be with you, but I do like dealing with you, but I don't want to be with you, I don't want to be with you, but I do like dealing with you. It's just that once you finally asked him, he finally told you. And we have to give men the leeway to be honest with us. He had been honest up until this point. He's not a liar. He may be immoral, he may be a bad guy to everybody watching this video, but don't call him a liar yet, because he hadn't lied to her. He told her and showed her. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. You should cherish the fact that people tell you the truth and what they want from you. It's up to you to accept it or not.
Situationship guy, of course, is like, this is crazy. Like, you don't deserve that. Blah, 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 blah. Just truly trying to play his role. And then the next morning, we wake up and we're just like talking, and I get a text from who? Michael. And the text from Michael pretty much reads that he apologized for everything that he said the day before. He didn't really mean that stuff. He just was getting really like anxious about feeling like, you know, he had to commit to being in a relationship. You know, he does want me to be in his life, but he's just not ready to be in a relationship yet. He's still scared with how his last relationship had ended. And just anytime the word relationship comes up, he just is like, that's a red zone for him. But he shouldn't have spoken to me that way. He doesn't mean the things that he said, and he would like to have a conversation about it. And on his way to my house. So I'm like,
what did she do?
Situationship, sir, you gotta go. I'm sorry.
Got the fish.
This was a mistake.
Got it.
This should have never happened.
Right on the hook.
Michael's coming back. We're gonna work it out. You gotta go.
Right on the hook.
So of course, I kick him out. He leaves.
With words. He reeled her in with words. Men show you based on their actions. And for 6 months, his actions showed her he didn't take her serious and did not want her. He then gave her words to reel her back in. A real man will show you. A real man will just come and show you. I'm serious. I'm sorry. I do want you. Let's see how this plays out.
And then Michael comes over and we talk, and I asked him, okay, like, because up until this point, I really don't fully have an understanding of why the last relationship ended or how it ended. And he basically told me that, you know, he just wasn't in love with that girl anymore. And it pretty much did kind of end sour because they took a break. Okay, you guys remember this pattern. They took a break, and he kind of started developing feelings or hanging out with this other girl that he went to school with, and, you know, kind of started entertaining the other girl while they were on this break. Meanwhile, he is still continuing to do boyfriend-like things for his ex. So he's still taking her out on dates, buying her gifts. You know, they're still in communication, so it seems like the relationship could possibly be rekindled. But in his head, it just really was over. He kind of was just dragging out the breakup. He knew he shouldn't have done that, but it was just really hard to just kind of cut ties. But eventually...
Fuck boy shit. Yep. Fuck boy shit. Fuck boy shit. Fuck bullshit. Now, what we have to do as people is learn the red flags and the signs from other people. If we see someone willing to do boyfriend things and have boyfriend access to you as a woman, but he is not willing to give you the commitment as a boyfriend, that is a flag. These people who want to do these things but don't want the commitment that comes with it are red flags.
Eventually, she found out that he was entertaining this other girl while, it looks like they're going to rekindle things. And she messed up his car, which I don't blame her. She slashed his tires, did all of his stuff, and he was just like, she knew how hard I worked to get that car, to buy my first car, and for her to just destroy my property like that was it for me. And I'm like, but your actions caused that reaction. And because of her reaction, that was it for you? He was like, yeah, I couldn't deal with that. Red flag. It wasn't he didn't really take much ownership about his role in the situation. It was just, you should never allow anyone to get you that far.
I agree with him. 2,000%. I'm not saying this because I want to take a man's side. The side I'm taking is the side of being honest and the side of people showing you exactly what they want from you. Because once a person decides to be honest and once a person decides to show you exactly what they're expecting from you, exactly what they want from you, you then have a choice to leave. But we have women like Miss Lindsay who stays in hopes that things get better. Even though the person is telling them and showing them, I have no intention on this getting better. I don't want a real relationship. I don't want to be a father. I don't want to be a husband. I don't want to be a boyfriend. They show them this. They tell them this. And because you expected change, you put that on him, and then you're mad that he never changed. You're mad because they started dealing with other people when they showed you, I don't have any intention of committing to you. I do not agree with this method. This goes for men as well. If I'm dealing with a woman who I'm constantly trying to be in a relationship with, and every time I go to her and say, hey, I'm ready to go, get this thing moving forward, and she says, no, that's too fast, we need to take a step back because I'm not ready to commit, I need to leave if I want commitment. For me to stick around with a woman for 6 months, knowing she doesn't want commitment, her telling me I don't want to commit to you, but I do enjoy being around you, is letting me know what she wants from me. I cannot be mad that she won't commit to me further and that she's even dealing with other people because she was honest enough to say she didn't want commitment. There's nothing dishonest about that. We gotta start taking accountability for what we see and what we do and what we interpret. He told these people the truth. And then they're mad because the truth didn't, I don't know. I don't know. But this makes, their reactions make no sense to me. Especially here in the story time.
Not really acknowledging that he had provoked her. So that was another red flag to me. I'm like, that's strange, but okay. But again, up until this point, aside from the laundry list text message that I got, he had been treating me well. And he continued to do so after that. So I'm like, okay, maybe he'll learn from it. I don't know. So we continue dating. I'm like, surely this is not going to happen to me. Surely, it's not going to end that way. There's just no way that he could do that twice.
Because she expected
stupidity. Change. Just go ahead and write it right across my forehead. So we continue dating. He asked for more time. He asked for grace, in terms of just getting ready to be in a relationship, but made it very clear, I want you to be in my life. I'm still not ready to commit. No, we're not going to do that, but I want you to be in my life. And I'm like,
told her again.
What else am I doing? What am I going to do? I'm going to go back to the situationship.
Told her honestly again. He told her at the beginning. He told her at the 6-month mark. He told her after she slept with another man, I still don't want you. but I want to deal with you. I want to have access to you, but I don't want to commit. So again, you got the choice to leave if you don't want this. But y'all women want it all. You want these men that you think you want. You want them to become the men that you really want. So you stick around in these situationships and you deal with these men hoping for change, even though at every avenue they tell you and they show you that that's not where it's going and that's not what they want. And then you blame the man for not becoming what you thought he was going to become, even though he told you, I don't plan on becoming this.
Friends with benefits? No, we'll see how this goes. Which really, I should have just taken him at face value for the way that he presented, how he viewed me right on the platter and just got up out of there. But I didn't. So we continue dating.
I respect her saying that.
It's another 6 months now. So now we're talking, dating, whatever you want to call it, for 9 months, and we're still not officially together. Even though people are recognizing us as a couple, referring to us as a couple, he has not asked me to be his girlfriend, so we are not a couple. Yeah, so we continue to date. He continues to be a gentleman, but the entire time too, after he tells me the story about his ex, I kind of fully never trust him. Like, there's this aura of just like secrecy around him that I could fully never penetrate. Like, I could fully never get my head.
I've been told this about myself. I've been told that I give off sneaky and I give off, secrecy and hiding things. And I can honestly say there's some truth to it. I'm not going to be completely in denial about it. But there's also the honesty is tied to it, because he told her, I don't want to commit to you. So at the same time, me or him being honest about not wanting to commit comes with the, okay, that's why I'm keeping all this private. Because I don't need you all in my business if we're nothing. Y'all are nothing. She just literally explained it. We're not friends with benefits. We just date. So why do I need you in my business if I'm not committing to you? So it all ties in together to this, he's being secretive or he's being sneaky stuff. Ma'am, you're not worthy of knowing any of these things. So of course you interpret it as being sneaky or private. It is. You're not my girl.
Around it, I get this eerie feeling of like, something is off about this man. I just can't put my finger on it.
That he doesn't
I can never find any text messages or traces with other women. I can never find proof that he's entertaining anyone else. I don't know what he's lying about, but something is just off. So we continue to date. 3 months goes by. Now we're in summer of going into senior year.
A whole year.
And we're dating.
Plus.
And he still hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend. I'm like,
not.
Okay.
She dealt with a man sleeping with him, letting him have complete access to her for a year, and not putting one requirement on it. And the one time she did put a requirement on it, she slept with somebody else, listened to some garbage text message he sent her, and that gave him access to another 6 months of her. I need women to understand how easy you're making it for men to have access to your most precious gifts. Your body, your womb, your vagina, giving us access to these things for damn near nothing. Or, I'm not going to say nothing, for things that we don't even really care about giving away. This man was dating her, taking on her dates, being a gentleman. He didn't have any problem paying for dates, showing her affection, or giving her gentleman treatment. He had no problem throwing that at her. But when it came time to commitment, he said, whoa, 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 whoa. Too much. Commitment was too much, but dating her and dealing with her and sleeping with her was not. Y'all make it so freaking easy for men to do these things, and then you get mad that men do them. You're giving it away. for things that we don't care about giving back to you. But understand that, again, men show you what they want. He's showing you that he values his commitment so much that he's not going to give it to you, even though you're giving him access to your body. Because you don't value it. We value it. That's why marriage rates have went down. Because men value commitment and men value their last name enough to say, I'm not going to give you that. I give you everything else. I give you a baby. I give you this D. I give you treatment. I give you dates. I give you money. But I will not give you access to say I'm your boyfriend. That matters too. That matters so much. And I don't understand how it go over lots of y'all head, because I see women trying to tease men and say they'll sleep with anything, but you won't get into a relationship. Of course not. Because we value that and we hold it to ourselves. And we won't give you that just for anything. That means something, but for some reason in this modern society, that's gone over women's heads. And that's why we have channels like this speaking on the real issue. The real issue is not acknowledging what people value. Women don't value their bodies. Women don't value sex anymore, y'all. Give it away for free. But men still value commitment. They don't give away their last names for free.
I'm just a little bit shy of having spent a year with you, and
No, you're right.
you still don't know if you want to be with me. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It does.
To me, when you know that you want to be with someone, it's pretty clear.
You're right.
When a man wants to be with you, he will make a way. When he doesn't want to be with you, he will find every excuse in the book
100%
to
agree.
Not commit to you.
100%.
And that's what was happening.
Of course.
Well, 9 months go by, and I'm like, okay, listen, you've had 9 months to figure it out. You haven't figured it out. It's cool. I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I'm not gonna force anything on you. I'm not giving you any ultimatums, even though he was like, why do you keep giving me ultimatums? I'm not. I'm making my choice. It's clear that you are still undecisive about the direction in which you want this relationship to go. So I'm just gonna go exit because it's not making sense to me.
Following this pattern is what gets a lot of women lonely and single moms at 30. Because even though she said this at a year, her math ain't math. And if we go according to what she really said, she had like 6 months, another 6 months, and 3 months. We at damn near a year and a half. I don't know if she got that mixed up or said it wrong. She said 9 months. We're past a year now. If you go on that timeline and those margins where you're giving these guys a year at a time to play with you and not show you, you're going to end up lonely. We got to start putting a requirement on these things early on. I don't want to go too far giving out dates, but I will say, from a woman's perspective, for the women, and this isn't going to go well for me as a man, but I got to say it because I need to be honest with you all. If a man can't show you that they're ready for commitment in a month and you are seeking commitment, you need to leave. It should not take a year. We don't need a year to know if I want to commit to you or not. It's not marriage. It's just saying, I want to be with you. You want to be with me. Let's call ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend. It should not take a year. That's ridiculous. That was way too long. But because, again, those tingles, and because I've seen things because she saw things that she had never required before, she had never got before, she wanted to stick around. She wanted this guy to change. He never intended on changing. So now we're here.
So he's like, no, don't make any rush decisions. Like, let me take you out on a date. Like, let's talk about it.
Words. Remember what happened last time? This is the pattern that she should have been pointing out. This is the pattern. Every time it gets real, he gives her more words and not actions. What did he do the last time? I need to send her this long text. Soon as she tells him she leave it again, I need to give you more words. Not actions. I don't need to show you. I just need to tell you things. And she falls for it every time.
We go out on this date, go to this really nice place. We have dinner. It's a good time.
Wow.
And then after the dinner, we head back to his house, watch a movie, and then, in the middle of the movie, he turns it off. We have a little bit of a conversation about where we're going to take this, and then he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I'm just like, this is a little too convenient. Like, are you sure
I
you want to
agree.
do this? I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who just doesn't want to be in a relationship. Like, it's okay, but it just means that we're going to go our separate ways. And he was like, no, like, I want you in my life. If this is how you're going to be in my life, then let's do this. Let's be in a relationship. So,
And then understand why a man is wanting to be in a relationship with you. He didn't want to be in a relationship because he said he wants to pursue a relationship. He didn't go into this with intentions on marrying her or seeing how far this goes. He got into a relationship with her because he didn't want to lose access to her. So he said, I'm not doing anything else. This is a man thoughts. More than likely, this is what he thought. I'm not doing anything else. I'm currently not seeing anybody else. I might as well get this girl this little tidbit of commitment so that I can keep her around a little bit longer until I figure out what I want to do with her. And she, again, hook, line, and sinker, because we don't have intentions when we're dating. Forget the fact that you even wanted a relationship. Why did you want a relationship with him? Why? What did you want from him? Because that's what you should have been looking for instead of just a title. Because now you got the title and still don't got the things that you're really seeking.
now it's official. We're officially together and we continue dating.
Of course, because that's all you needed was
Things
words.
are going well.
Words.
We're enjoying.
Let's go back to that. That's all she needed was words. She didn't need actions. She just needed him to say a couple more words. We're together. And now that gets me even more time.
Our summer, we're hanging out with our friends, a lot of barbecues, a lot of going to the bar, a lot of pool parties, and we're just enjoying the rest of the summer. And this is the work cohort. Michelle is a part of this cohort. So we spend the entire summer just all the whole, property A and property B gang just getting together, hanging out, kicking it, enjoying the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire time, again, this woman is in my ear telling me how you guys are the perfect match. You guys are the greatest relationship. Her and I are building a friendship. All types of stuff. Okay? This girl's in my face.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a little weary of her because I'm starting to see character that I don't really like. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. She is sleeping with her roommate's man. She just kind of doesn't have the same guiding principles. Whether or not the man has a girlfriend, wife, fiance, whatever, is irrelevant to her. If she takes interest in a man and he takes interest in her, that's all she needs to know. Whatever the man has going on outside of that, she doesn't care.
This is another reason why I chose this story, because there's so many elements to this story that are really prevalent in life. Black women specifically. I need you all to understand that there are women in this world who will fight for their man. There are women in this world who don't believe in honor amongst thieves. There are women who don't believe in pride and the girl code when it comes to getting a man. So this girl who she's speaking about, who she's also acknowledged is married to this man now, is not afraid to get a little dirty to get what she believes that she wants. Understand that. So the same way I told the men earlier, we got to accept the fact that women are going to keep men in their orbit, just in case they need to. You need to understand that there are women who will do anything to get a man, especially when they see the traits and things that you see in them as well. I don't know why y'all think that y'all the only ones that see these things, who understand that these are good men, or see the way they date you or the way they carry you. You think another woman isn't going to see this and want this. Not only do they see it and want it, they're willing to do more things than you're willing to do to keep it. So just like men need to understand and accept it so that they know, so that we know how to deal with these things, you need to understand this so that you know that the moment you start slipping, there's another woman who's ready to do everything to get that man and don't give a shit what he got going on. Does that mean that they're going to get them? Not necessarily. But you just need to understand that so that you know how to deal with it. And don't take it as a sign of respect, because it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with just her wanting that man to see if this is what she's going to get. To see if this is Mr. Right for her. Forget what you got going on. she can get past that. And clearly, this woman who was willing to do anything for all the sneaky shit that you said, she got hers. I don't care that you called her sneaky. She don't care that you said she's sneaky in a video, a YouTube video, when she at home with her man with a ring on. She did what she needed to do, and she got her goal accomplished. That's it.
But she never approached my relationship with that. So it was just like, girl, I don't agree with what you do in your free time, but that's your free time, sis. You do you. But again, the entire time she's steady, oh, you should, you should go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, girl. Keep doing this relationship. It's going to be great. You guys are perfect for each other. Meanwhile, sis is plotting. Sis is plotting,
as she should.
Okay?
As she should.
Later in the summer, he ends up getting a promotion. So he goes from leasing agent to now leasing manager. So of course, I'm just like, oh, Michael, that's great. Congratulations. We're celebrating. And so I start asking him, hey, are you going to be able to handle both? Like, how do you think this year is going to go with like your new promotion, which is a full-time job, and being a full-time student? Like, that's a lot on your plate. He continues to kind of like scapegoat the question,
really
and work out grade-wise. So he switched to a different major. I think.
Yeah, we just skipped the part where she said he lied about being in school and he had a different major.
Economics was his major at the time, and that didn't work out, so he ended up transferring to take classes at the community college, but he hasn't been enrolled at U of I for quite some time, and he will not be graduating this December.
Yeah, she had paid for a trip for him. It's just so long-winded. She paid for a trip for him to congratulate him from getting there with getting close to graduation. Come to find out, he wasn't really graduating. He transferred to a community college, and she didn't pay for this trip for them to go out of town.
And at first, I wasn't furious. I was just confused as to why he would lie about that. Like, why would somebody lie about that? Like, what's the big deal? Like, people change majors. They have to take breaks from school. College isn't always from point A to point B for everyone. Like, that's normal. Like, why would you lie about that?
I agree.
And red flag, again, that he didn't view me as a safe space where he can confide with me with that type of stuff.
You want to know why? You want to know why? You want to know why he didn't feel like he can come to you? Because this man, for this whole, I damn near want to say 2 years that they've been rocking, he's been honest with her. And at every step, she didn't listen. She didn't believe him. He's been honest and said, I don't want to be with you. I just want to have you around. And she's like, he's going to change. I don't think he's really meaning that. 6 months in, he says it again. This is why I don't want you. But I want to still have you around. I'm going to still give him a chance. He's going to like me. They're going to like me. He keeps giving her honesty, and she pushes it to the side. Like, this is not what he's really saying. So then now you expect him to be honest about this, and he's like, well, shit, every time I try to be honest with you, you didn't accept it. You didn't believe me.
Because his response was like, I just was really scared to tell you. I wasn't sure how you were going to take it. I was nervous that you were going to leave me. Didn't think that this relationship would be able to continue if I had disclosed this. And to me, it was just like, but what's the big deal?
He didn't think that he still have access to her the way that he has access to her. He's put on a facade to maintain access to her, and probably thought that the only way I can keep having access to her is for her to believe that I'm still in college and I make a lot of money and blah, blah, blah.
Then I spoke to one of my close friends, Rowlette, about this. And she's like, Lindsay, you're too easily forgiving in this situation.
Agreed.
Because, yeah, I get it, he didn't want to tell you, but character-wise, this man has put on a charade for the last year, essentially pretending to go to U of I. And then I had to think about it, guys. The entire time that we were dating that year,
a little bit more.
So naive, guys, and it just felt like, yeah, but he's not cheating on me, so like it's a stupid thing to lie about, but like, is it really a big deal when I really should have paid attention to the character flaws that this situation was highlighting?
Agreed.
But I didn't. And so naturally, we ended up not going to the Dominican Republic. I ended up canceling that trip. That was that, because you're not graduating. It's supposed to be a graduation trip. Kind of make up for it, he ended up booking us a trip to go to Belize later that next year, that next January. So that happened maybe like September-ish. And then in October, that's kind of when things kind of start to go south. So in October, we find out that I'm pregnant. I'm expecting a child. And immediately I call my parents.
So we're about a year, 2 years in. Probably about a year of actually being in a relationship. This man has literally given her the bare minimum when it comes to what you're supposed to be getting from a man. Gave her the bare minimum, and in return, she's gave him the maximum amount that a woman can offer a man that they're in a relationship with. You get access to my womb. You get access to me. You get access to get me pregnant for the first time. You get access to everything. And all I require is words and dates. That's all she's required from this man. Is words and dates.
Call, my family. I tell them, hey, I'm pregnant. Michael and I are having a baby. This is what's going on. And my parents' reaction, which I told y'all, I have strict traditional Haitian parents. They really surprised me. They were like, oh, it's fine. Like, at this point, they really like Michael. They're like, we know he's going to take care of you. We know he's going to take care of the baby. We trust that, like, you're in good hands. It's fine. You and Michael will figure it out. Plus, you're going to graduate this year, and you'll be fine. So I'm like, okay. Michael never calls his mom. Till this day, I don't think he ever told anyone that I was pregnant by him. Till this day. So I'm pregnant. We start.
Understand. Again, men show you how they feel and what they want from you. He showed her again that he is not ready to be a father. Has no intention on being a father. He's not treating this as if it's a serious thing when it's bringing a life into this world. He's showing her in every avenue that he doesn't want this seriously. And she continues, just like she just brushed that off. Moving on, I'm pregnant.
Are going for checkups, and he's acting like he's excited, but he never is taking the steps to inform the people who are closest to him. He doesn't tell James, his best friend. He doesn't tell his mom. He doesn't tell his brother. No one that's close to him knows that he is about to have his first child. Unfortunately, I ended up having a miscarriage, and that was really traumatic for me. Yeah, it was just not a fun experience to kind of get to the point where you have accepted that you're going to be a mom for the first time, and then to just have it like ripped away from you. I was really sad. I went through a season of depression. I didn't go to class for a couple weeks. I didn't go to work for a couple weeks. Like, it just, your girl was not in a good way. When we first went to the hospital and found out, like, I was having some pain, I was having some bleeding. When we first went to the hospital and found out that it was a miscarriage, he was really supportive that day. But after that, it was kind of like attitude. He never said it, but the way that he reacted and carried himself was just like such a sigh of relief of like, whew.
So his action showed that he was happy that it was over with. He didn't give you words, but his action showed this. Again, this is why I wanted to point out some of the things that she pointed out in this video. Just didn't show that she truly learned what she was supposed to learn, which is men speak with actions. And fuckboys use words. If you want to know how a man truly feels about you, worry about how he's treating you and what he does. Forget what he's saying. Make him show you. And most men will show you.
Okay, I missed that bullet. we're done with this now, right? Like, he was trying to hurry up and close that chapter as soon as possible.
Of course.
But for me, like, I was still, even physically, you guys know, like, a miscarriage isn't here today, gone tomorrow. Like, I was still physically dealing with expelling, you know, whatever. Like, I was still physically dealing with it, emotionally dealing with it, going through depression.
He's a fucked up person.
And after that very first day, I never really felt supported by him again. It was just, let's get back to life as quickly as possible. And I'm just like, I'm grieving. So I kind of felt like I was going through that grieving process by myself. He kind of was already, again, a really secretive person, but the wall even went up even more. And I really was left alone to kind of just deal and process, because anytime I would bring something to him, he would be like, oh, like, you just want to talk about stuff, like, you're always wanted to talk through things throughout, like, everything doesn't need to be talked about.
I agree with that.
Like, we can just move on.
I don't agree with that. We can just
so
move on.
There was a lot of silencing, a lot of shutting down whenever I brought up feelings in that relationship. And just generally an era of, like, we don't need to talk about this. Like, why do we need to talk about this? Like, let's just keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I backed off. I was like, okay, it is what it is. So now I start becoming more and more withdrawn in the relationship. But again, when a man doesn't find you his safe space, he's not going to be vulnerable with you. He's not going to tell you his true feelings. He's not going to share those things with you, because you're not his safe space. But if you're his person, you will be his safe space. Like, he will find that comfort with you as you will find it with him. So I'm steady the entire time of this relationship, steady giving of myself, steady telling secrets that I have.
She's right.
Or just,
I just told you this. She's steady giving so much access to herself and giving so much about herself. And then it comes to him and you're not requiring nothing. He's not doing nothing.
Personal traumas I experienced, just telling the person that I'm dating, you know, what I've gone through, what's happening in my life, and what I'm getting back in return is very surface level. Like, we dated maybe 2 years, going on 3 years, I think. And the deepest thing that I know about the man to this day is that he doesn't have a relationship with his biological father.
She required the bare minimum. She received the bare minimum. He required more from her. He received more from her. Intentions matter. What you tolerate matters. What you ask for matters. Because she didn't ask for much, so she didn't get much. Stop assuming that everyone is going to treat you the same way. Stop assuming that everyone is going to give you more than what you ask for. There are people that if you ask for $1, they're going to give you $1. Some may even give you 99 cents. If you ask in a relationship, hey, hubby, I need $3.02 to order this thing online. My account is a little low. Can you send me $3.02? There are men that will send you $3.02, and then there are men that will send you $5. To make sure that you had enough little extra. There are men that will send you 10. But you need to understand that if you require $3.02 and a man sends you $3.02, don't be mad at him, because that's what the hell you asked for. There are men that are going to give you what you asked for, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's what you're asking for. Stop being mad at people for not giving you extra. I understand it's if your relationship and you work together and he should want to give me extra, require extra then. Stop expecting everybody to read your mind and be Miss Cleo and understand these things. Require it. And then you won't have to worry about nothing. Because either he'll do it or he won't. If you ask for $3.20 and he says you $3.20, go for it. Or start telling women and requiring $10. You short $3.20, ask for 10, period. Every trip.
That's it. That's like as deep as we went. Meanwhile, I'm telling this man about I'm talking like trauma, y'all. So it just wasn't matched in that way. And that presented itself even in the way that we processed the miscarriage separately. So then after the miscarriage happened and me really not feeling supported through that, I just felt like he was trying to pick fights where they didn't need to be picked all the time. Like he had problems with like me having certain male friends who were genuinely just my friends. Meanwhile, outwardly, everyone is still looking at us as like kind of sort of couple goals, perfect for each other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm starting to feel like, yeah, maybe perfect for each other on paper, but in reality, like, this isn't working. But he's purchased this trip to Belize, so I'm like, okay, let's go on the trip and let's see what happens on this trip. The right before we leave for this trip, y'all, when I tell you everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. Everything from like minute stuff like parking all the way down to almost missing flights, getting, and we only have each other here, so we kind of have to put whatever differences we're having aside so that we can just make it through this trip. So it's a very forced happiness, fake joy, vacation type of situation. It wasn't anywhere near of any time that I've taken a trip with Tay. Like, it just wasn't the same. So we're on this trip, but this trip really also highlighted another red flag, is that we don't share the same core values or just have the same core guiding principles. On that trip,
I want you to understand how far into the relationship this is for her to start speaking about core values again. We're going to go back to these intentions. These intentions matter so much because we're hearing a live story of someone who didn't have any requirements or any intentions on what she expected from a man. She got a man, and then 2 to 3 years later, a baby later, a miscarriage later, a trip out of town later, she's just now understanding that, damn, but this nigga believe in it and I would believe in ain't even the same shit. It only took you a year and a half and a baby and, potentially messing up your body and a lifelong commitment. It only took all this for you to finally understand what this man truly believes in and to start understanding who you're dealing with. This is ridiculous, women. This is ridiculous. And this is how most of your stories go. And I'm not saying this because I want to pick on Miss Lindsay here because she's telling this story for us to learn from. I'm just letting you know that if this happens to you and if you're going through this, this makes no sense to continue dealing with somebody or even start dealing with somebody and you don't even know. And she almost had a freaking baby with this person who she doesn't even know.
Really realized spiritually that we were just not aligned. And you guys know I'm a Christian. I am very strong about my faith. I don't play when it comes to my faith. And on that trip, he pretty much told me that like he was an atheist. He really didn't believe in God, which,
how sad is this?
I knew that he was still like trying to find his path spiritually, but I didn't know that it was like that because after we had to miscarry the baby, he still did things that brought me comfort. So for me, the one thing that I did do is seek comfort in God. I really ran to God after that miscarriage, and like church was my happy place, and he would come with me most Sundays because he knew that. But that was it. He kind of was just like a body in a seat in a service. Like he wasn't doing anything for him the way that it was doing for me. And I kind of knew that, but I didn't know that he just was like, yeah, I don't believe in a higher power. But at this time too,
it took almost 2 years to even figure out what his religion is. Woo! Again, learn from this, people. Learn. And this go for both ways, because there is no way in the hell I wouldn't tell a man the same shit I'm telling everybody. This is ridiculous. If you want to date someone because you want to be in a relationship with them, you're potentially seeing a future, maybe a baby, you should know this shit off top. This is what dating is supposed to be for. This is why dating has become so dumb now. Because women don't even value sex or their womb anymore. To the point where you're willing to give these things to a man and you don't even know his religion. how can you then turn around and say men ain't shit? You didn't even ask him. You didn't even require that he tell you. But you was about to have a baby by this person and y'all don't even share the same religion.
There's also little drops of conversations about marriage and like trying again for kids at some point later in the future. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to intentionally marry someone who doesn't share the same faith as me.
Of course.
Which I'm not here to tell you who or what to believe in, but for me, it's very important that my household is a unified household, especially when we're talking about raising and rearing children together, because I'm very, again, steadfast in my faith.
Understand that when you say things like this and you have story times like this, that these are things that need to go into your list of what you require when dating. These are things that need to go into your list of when you're looking for somebody. You need to make sure that these things go before you even start a relationship. Before you start sleeping around, you need to understand this, because the potential to get pregnant and be stuck dealing with this person for 18 years is always there once you decide to have sex. So we need to start figuring these things out before we start doing these things.
I believe what I believe, and I expect or want my children to be raised in the same way. I don't want to have to be fighting with their parent about whether this is right or wrong. I just want it to be clear that we're on the same page, that this is the faith in which that we're going to bring our children up in,
And I agree with that.
That's that. So I made it really clear I have no intentions on marrying anyone who is not a Christian. And he was really offended by that. He was like, so if I was of X, Y, and Z faith, you wouldn't marry me? And I'm like, no, I just explained to you my reasoning why, and I said what I said.
And I have no issue with that.
So I know that you're still trying to figure that out, your belief systems are...
But again, now that I have no issue with that, I need you to understand that that's when you have to end it. You have to have an abundance mindset, and you need to know as a man or as a woman, if I don't want this, and I don't see this going anywhere long term, and I don't plan on marrying someone who is another religion, then that should be it. It should end right there. Again, there should be no more of this video. But we're still only at the 38 mark of a 1 hour video. There should be no more even now. Even after a baby and after all this stuff, we're at the point where we're at religion. She still understands. She still has got the truth that this man is a whole nother religion and she doesn't want this, and still.
Or whatever. But for me, I've got to figure it out. And if one day you don't come to Christ, then like this just isn't going to work. Now, mind you, his best friend, James, who got me the job and kind of introduced us, is also a believer. And so James and I have, talked like, well, maybe if we're both in his life, God will bring him to Christ and all this stuff. But on this trip, it really highlighted just how far removed he was from ever getting to that point, that I just was like, oh, I'm not too sure about this. So anyway, we had that conversation on the trip. It ends up being a little bit of a sore point, but it's on maybe like day 2 of a 5-day trip. And so
she brushed a lot of stuff off in her relationship. Her friend was telling her the truth. She let a lot of stuff go that she should not have let go. And unfortunately for her, this is me not even telling the story. Unfortunately for women who let things like this happen, to where you go on letting a lot of things go in a past relationship that end up going sour. What you do now to try to compensate for what you let go in the past is you overcompensate in the future. So now for the small things that she let go for him, she's going to overcompensate for a future man, to where not only do you have to do this, you have to be A, B, C, D, D and a half, E and a half, in order to even consider doing any of this stuff. Instead of finding that happy medium and going into it in good faith and saying, okay, now I'll just make sure I require that before we do it. No, they get with a man and then they start making outrageous demands of men in the future. Instead of just making it a mellow balance and just, letting it ease its way into that. No, now it's, no, I need a man that's going to do this, 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 and boom, boom, boom. And it's like, dude, come on. Come on now.
So we kind of just put it away, don't talk about it again, and just continue to just try and enjoy each other's presence on this trip. And so, you know, we're having conversations about what does life look like if I do end up going to New York versus if I stay in Champaign at the
She was talking about possibly getting going to college in a different state. She's about to graduate.
University of Illinois. He's now being sent to help out at different properties and is probably going to be up for another promotion soon. If he does have to get up and move to another state, would I be willing to come with him or no? Am I going to stay and finish school? What's the plan? So these are like the next life choices that we're kind of having a dialogue about and like making together. Things are already kind of on thin ice, and then one day he goes out with the work group of friends and I don't go. He just goes, but he doesn't come home. And not only does he not come home, but he doesn't make it to work the next day. And I start to panic because he's never done anything like that before. So he doesn't come home. I'm calling all of the friends. Hey, have you seen Michael? Have you seen Michael? No, no one has seen Michael. This relationship, we've both been in her house multiple times. She's been in both of our homes multiple
Talking about
times.
Michelle's house now.
And I'm knocking on the door, and this girl just sticks her head out. She doesn't even fully open the door. She just sticks her head out, like, "Oh, hey, girl, like, what's up?" She doesn't let me in. She doesn't let me in her apartment.
She should.
And I'm like, "Have you seen Michael?" No, Michael. No, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since last night. Like, what's up? What's wrong? And I'm like, I can't find him. No one knows where he is. Like, he didn't make it to World's house that he could have crashed at, people that they were with. Of it was just so like,
All right, so long story short, Michael ended up getting drunk, staying out all night. She goes to start knocking on people's houses. Consequently, something sparked in her mind. She should go to Michelle's house. Michelle denies everything. She still believes to this day he was in Michelle's house. Michelle says, "No, I'll come help you look for him." They leave Michelle's house, going to Michael's house, and then all of a sudden Michael comes home drunk and doesn't explain where he was.
I can't find him. I come to your home. You don't let me in. You come help me look for him. And within 5 to 7 minutes of you showing up, he stumbles his drunk ass in. And none of this was coordinated.
Understand that women don't owe you anything. A lot of women, this goes to that girl code shit. A lot of women don't believe in this dumbass girl code stuff. This is stuff that y'all try to push on to everyone. And there are women that will say, the code, I want a man. I don't care about what your pride says. I don't care about the honor amongst thieves. I don't care about none of this stuff. All I'm concerned about is making sure I get this ring and make sure I'm set for the rest of my life. And I don't have a problem with that. The problem is that women think that, oh no, we're supposed to stick together above men. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to make sure you got a family and you establish first. What I believe in is making sure you got that ring and you got your man first. Forget all this girl code and I need to let a friend shit in. No. Make sure you set. She don't owe you nothing.
It just was very suspicious to me. Yeah, so Michael sobers up later that evening. We end up having a conversation, and he is not happy with me. He is not pleased that I was calling and looking for him, trying to figure out why he had gone ghosting.
I don't know if I probably skipped this part, but they moved in at this point. I probably did skip that part. He did ask her to move in with her shortly before this. I might have fast forwarded. He asked her to move in. I think, when they was on a trip, he said we should move in. I'm ready to start seeking more steps and getting closer. Let's start talking about marriage. She was all for it, moved in, and then this shit happened.
And didn't come home and didn't show up to work, which to me, like, if I go missing, I would 100% expect, if I go missing doing something out of the ordinary at this day, I would expect Tay to be calling and looking to try to find me. It's just what you do. So I thought. But he didn't like that girl. He was like, "No, you're too much. Let's see. This relationship, like, you don't have boundaries. Like, you're doing too much. I think we need a break." And I'm like, "A break? You just asked me to move in." And I forgot to mention, you guys, at this point, I have now accepted my offer to continue attending school at the University of Illinois. Not necessarily for Michael, it was just a better financial situation. And even if Michael wasn't in the picture, I would have made that decision just financially.
That's
but
good.
Michael's offer for us to move in together was going to put me in an even better financial situation to where I can then help my parents repair some things on our old house. So I had already had this conversation with my parents. Like, yeah, this is the plan. Michael and I are moving in together. I'm going to be able to give you guys this lump sum amount of money to help redo, like, I think they were trying to do the roof or something at that time. With this break, like, clearly we're not moving in together. This is not happening. He's like, I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't want to be with you, but like your behavior, like the way you move it, like it's too much. I need to take a step back. And I'm like, what? You're the one who didn't come home. You're the one who didn't communicate, and you want to take a break? All right, it's cool. It's no problem.
No, it is not cool. It is a problem. It's very much a problem because of what you want. So now we got this roller coaster, right? I can't even call it a roller coaster. I'll call it a mountain. We got this mountain where she starts off at the bottom of the mountain. She's seeking a relationship or something strong. Man says no. She's at the bottom. She said, all right, I'm in a relationship. We start going up the mountain. She finally gets the relationship. We got the baby. We got the moving in. At the top of the mountain. And out of nowhere, he says, I'm not so sure about this. I'm not liking this. We need to take a step back down the mountain. We need to come back down. I need you to move out. I need us to break up. She says, okay, even though we're traveling backwards down the mountain. Let's see how far down the mountain she gets.
So we take a break, and at this point, everything is still amicable. He understands financially the commitment that I made to my parents, and now I kind of have to reevaluate that commitment because we're no longer going to be living together. And so he's still helping me out, financially, which I was very thankful for. I now have to find a place to live. And this is very short notice. Graduation is like a month away at this point. So I now have to find a place to live. I now have to get my own bearings, furniture, all that good stuff. I have to set myself up to not be living with him. He's the leasing manager at this place, and he's able to get me a really good deal on an apartment. He's like, listen, if you sign this deal, like, I'm not going to give you a roommate. I know that's not really what you want, but you'll have this entire 2-bedroom to yourself. Remember this, guys. I'm like, okay, great. Win-win for everyone. It is what it is. But during this entire break, there's still conversations of like possibly getting back together. It's not really clear.
During a breakup where I'm telling you, I'm showing you by my actions, I don't want to be with you. He goes back to giving her words. This 3-year relationship, this man has gave her so much bare minimum and so many words and kept her on for so long that it's becoming utterly ridiculous. And these are the things that she didn't address in the video, so that's why I felt the need to talk about these things, because these things matter. He keeps giving her words every time while also showing her, I want to do me. And she falls for it every time. And this is so, I see this so much in women today. And it's ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this, because y'all don't understand that bunk what a man tells you, we will show you. And you all still say, forget what he's showing me. What did he tell me? Even though he's showing me he don't want to be with me, he still told me he do. So I still should just stay alone. No. Leave.
Clear. You guys remember how he broke up with his ex? We're in that gray area again. Like, you want to break, but you're still coming over. You're still doing boyfriend-like things. You're still you're still doing all the
and she's going to now be in the same place as the last person, where you're mad at a man or showing you the real but telling you something else. You're mad because he still was showing you
things. Pattern of how his last relationship ended is now showing up in our relationship. So I'm getting mixed signals. I'm like, is it over? Is it not over? Is it over? Is it not over? And up until
and instead of taking her word and what she was getting and moving with how she should be moving based on what she's getting, nope. I'm going to move based off of what someone's telling me. not based on what I know, not based on logic, not based on reason. I'm gonna move based on his words and then be mad at him.
At this point, I hadn't told my parents that it was over yet because I wasn't clear if we're getting back together or not.
Wow.
And I didn't want, how family can be, they don't forget. So I didn't want to tell my family one thing if like this was just gonna blow over in a couple of weeks. So graduation came, and let me tell you guys, he played his role. Nobody knew that we weren't together. He was at every graduation ceremony, dinner to figure out what's going on because you feel like things are moving too fast, you're committing too soon, you shouldn't be. He was telling me, he was just making it seem like he wasn't ready for the pace that we were moving at.
Of course.
And we needed to kind of slow down. Like he still kind of sort of wanted the relationship. He was like, I feel like you have taken up so much space in my life that I can't really be selfish. I'm getting all these potential job offers, and the first thing I'm thinking about is, how is this going to work with Lindsay? How is this going to affect our relationship, when really I should just be focused on advancing my career at this point in time? And I just dating, like I gotta take a pause on it. So why am I hearing that you're dating Michelle, but you're telling me you're not dating nobody? Like, is it done? Are we done? Because if we're done, that's cool. Again, I can exit stage left, but
you should exit, not can. You should. So again, we get into this portion where she's starting to hear, mind you, they still all work in the same place. He's the leasing manager, coworker, started noticing stuff. They're all saying, hey, we still starting to see him with the other girl. They're broken up at this point. He's showing him with his actions he's not ready to be in a relationship with her. Regardless of what he's saying, he's showing you he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. He has told you this. He actually did tell her, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm thinking about considering it, but I'm not ready for one, so we need to stay broken up. We're both single. We stepped this mountain. We was halfway. We're both single. But now I just want to deal with you and have access to you. So I'm not giving you commitment anymore. I gave it to you at first, and I don't want it no more. Now we're literally back at square one. So where she's dealing with a man who doesn't want to commit to her, who isn't giving her his last name, who value his commitment, took it back from her. You're not worthy of this. I just want to have access to you and sexual intercourse with you and have fun with you, but I don't want to give you commitment.
But you're not telling me what I need to know. Like, it just couldn't be a clean break, which was very frustrating to me at the time.
He told you.
So he continues to deny that anything's going on between them. But Michelle, since Michael and I have gone on this break, my good friend Michelle, she hasn't called to check up on me not one time, y'all.
And she should.
Not one time is, hey girl, I heard you're going through a breakup. Are you good? Do you need anything? What's going on? But I'm hearing that you're all over town with my man/ex.
Okay, so what you gonna do about it?
Very confused. I'm very confused. So I end up hitting Michelle like, hey, let's make a Starbucks run. I need to talk to you. So we go to Starbucks, and I basically like tell her what's up. Like, why haven't I heard from you? Like, what's going on? I hear you're kicking it with my ex, but you haven't called to check on me, and like we're supposed to be girls. Well, this is Michelle.
Well, I just feel like you can't tell me who I can and can't be friends with. And I'm not going to stop hanging with Michael. So if that's a problem for you, then I don't know what to tell you.
Ha!
The balls on this girl, y'all.
No balls. She should have had it. She should have kept that same energy. He's single now. She don't owe you nothing. She don't owe you nothing. He don't owe you nothing. They're both single, and she's telling you, I'm dealing with him. I'm not stopping because of you. And if you have a problem with that, hey, do you. She got no problem going after what she wants. And she went after it and she got it.
So I, look up and down. I'm like, all right. Noted. You can't be trusted. It's okay. You can go ahead. So and that's pretty much the last conversation her and I ever have. And she continues to do whatever she's doing with Michael.
Of course.
And I continue to hear about it. And then I ask Michael, and Michael continues to deny it. And it's just this circle, this back and forth circle. If somebody sees them together, I ask them about it. He says they're just friends or it's not true. Just gaslighting and kind of making me feel like what I already knew to be true was crazy.
I don't agree with him lying. I don't agree with the lying portion of it, because at this up to this point, he had been honest and I had been defending his honesty. And I don't agree with him now deciding that I'm going to start lying about what he has going on. But I also understand that he's single and he doesn't owe her honesty. They're not together. He made it abundantly clear that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. So he does not now owe you truth and honesty. He's not your man. He's just dealing with you on a sexual level. You're still giving him access to your body and your womb. You're still giving him all the greatest gift while he has taken his greatest gift back. That is the biggest red flag of them all. She did not point out
that I was crazy. Until one day, we end up having a staff meeting and two people aren't present at the staff meeting, Michael and Michelle. And at this point, I have now started to kind of be like, okay, we're not getting back together. It is what it is. Because now it's not just like things that I hear from other people. Like I can clearly see that they're not there. I can clearly see on the PTO board that they have PTO at the same time. I've never seen it before because I just felt disrespected, lied to, embarrassed, all the things. So I'm banging on the door. He's not answering the door. Poor Tay is just trying to calm me down. He's there with me while I'm banging at this other man's door, trying to calm me down, trying to get me to relax. It's not working. I get pissed off that he's not answering the door fast enough, and I punch the window. And the window shatters, y'all. Like, I didn't know I was that strong to punch through a window. Like, that's how angry I was. And as immediately as I punch through the window, Michael is opening the door. Like, Lindsay, like, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this? I don't even let the man get 2 words in. I storm in the house. I let it be known that I don't care whether or not Michelle is there or not. You're gonna hear me and you're gonna stop fucking embarrassing me, and I know everything. So I basically curse him out. I let him have it. I let him know how he is embarrassing me. How could he do this to the person that was going to be the mother of his child? Like, there's no respect here. You have no respect for the relationship that we had. Anything where you can't just be, like, I just went off.
And the reason this matters is because she's assuming what they had. He now owes her respect for what was and not what is. I don't owe you shit for what was. I only owe you for what we are. And right now, we're nothing. You don't have my baby. You were about to have my baby. You're not my girlfriend. You were my girlfriend. We're nothing. He owes her nothing. And she's still holding on to a past that was. And he's long gone from that. We're at the bottom of the mountain again, and she's still demanding respect as if she's at the top. And it's not the same because their actions have changed.
I went off. I did not wait for him to respond, and I walked back out. And I was like, Tay, let's go home. And Tay took me home. And then maybe about 20 minutes later, Michael comes to the door, apologizes for the entire scene, you know, lets me know that
he is awesome at manipulating and playing the word game. But the reason I'm telling this story is because you can beat this by just acknowledging a man's actions. You don't have to worry about being manipulated. I saw when I was searching in this Storytime, I saw a bunch of women I've been manipulated and blah blah blah. I didn't listen to all of them because I can't do all this. There's so much Storytime and women talking for so long. I'm gonna go crazy. But I can guarantee you 99% of the people who were doing these things and saying they were manipulated and hurt could have bypassed them had they stopped listening to the words and start worrying about the actions.
Nothing happened between them, whatever. I'm not buying it, but you know, he's giving me this spiel of how nothing happened between them.
He's giving you more words.
He can understand how I could feel embarrassed. We all still have to work together, and if things do happen between them, then I will be the first to know. And I'm just like, bullshit. The gaslighting, the gaslighting, this man, he was a professional gaslighter, y'all.
I agree.
And just constantly making me think like I was overthinking things. I was going crazy when really I was seeing things for what it was. You just were telling me that it was something else, and I was stupid enough to believe you at the times that you were telling me that it was something else. Michelle is terrified because she has seen me go off. She's seen me break the window. And so Michelle is calling the police. Being responsive, I'm just going to pull up. Give me the check. I will go and deliver it. Soon after that we were aligned in terms of spirituality, in terms of the way that we envisioned our life and our family going. Like, it just became...
She starts dating him, and she's speaking about now where they are.
Very clear in a very short amount of time that we were choosing each other in that way. Again, the choosing shouldn't be hard. The relationship might be work, but the choosing of each other, that shouldn't be hard. And I continue to develop our relationship. And one day I get an email from the leasing office from Michelle. And so Tay and I come back, and the police are there, and they're waiting. And pretty much wrote the police report I could have paid attention to along the way, because I feel like as women, so many times we just brush those red flags underneath the table. And I could have saved myself so much embarrassment, emotional turmoil, trauma, loss.
I don't want to get too caught up in the whole red flag thing, because I don't think this was about noticing flags or specific instances where things went wrong. There was a lot of just bypassing the truth here. There was a lot of gaslighting on her end, where she didn't want to, and just not accepting what was. This is another bad instance of like accountability not being taken. She had every opportunity to say, you know what? This man is showing me what he wants. You know what? This man just told me he don't want to be with me. You know what? This man just told me he wants to break up. He wants to take a step backwards. You know what? This man is showing me that he wants to deal with other people. She had so many chances. Those are not red flags. Those are behaviors. Those are patterns. That was honesty. That was his truth that he was trying to give to you, but you didn't want to accept it. So it's not really about, I don't want to get too caught up in the red flags, and I want to get more so people pay attention to the behaviors, and especially when it comes to men, pay attention to our actions. Again, I'm giving away game here, but watch how we move and what we do for you.
Loss of both relationship, friendships, and a child, if I had just paid attention to the red flags early on and just not allowed myself to get invested in something that I knew from the get-go wasn't for me. Also could have, prevented kind of like the rebuilding and the damage control that I would have to do in my relationship now, because of all the baggage and trauma that would come from the horrible way.
Remember, I spoke about that. So what happens is you deal with these men who you choose to deal with in your past, and then you go into another relationship, and now you have to overcompensate for what you allowed back then. And now you have to go above and beyond to ensure that that hurt will never happen again. Because now you have built up a wall to make sure that you don't get hurt like that. And now you're taking things out on a new man that had nothing to do with why you're scorned in the first place. So now not only were you hurt by him, but now you're also hurting the person who could be the one for you because of what you chose to go through in the past.
That relationship ended. So Tay and I worked through a lot of it, and we're in a really great space now, and it worked out great because after the decay of that relationship, both of us, both Michael and myself, found the people that we were supposed to be with for the rest of our lives that wasn't each other.
We're going to end it right there. If you stayed this long and you managed to endure this very long ass video from me, I truly appreciate you. I'm truly ready to start getting back to making my videos on a good timeline. I'm not going to go months anymore. I also have found myself and realized, what I like to do and what I want to do and where I want to be at, and had to get my mind right as well. You are already know that I still have the consulting business going. I still have people emailing me and sometimes reaching out to social media platforms to ask how to reach out to me. I have all my links. When you go to all my links, which I will start trying to update and keep them everywhere. When you go to all my links, the very top is my website, legendaryconsultingllc.com. You go there and you can book the consultation with me. You can book it about child support. You can book it about the coaching, the life coaching, or the relationship coaching, or just general. You just want to just talk to me. Unfortunately, I'm not able to have a bunch of just random conversations. I would rather you book the time. Right now, it's still only $35 for the first initial session. And that's pretty fair because I'm giving a lot of my time on YouTube and I explain stuff very well on here and I give a lot of details. So you want to further the conversation, I just ask that you just pay for my time. Help a brother out. Help a brother keep making these good old YouTubes. Help a brother keep supporting the channel and be able to afford these good microphones and good cameras and get some more lighting or leave some more lighting on this side. Help a brother out. Let's keep growing. Questions, comments, concerns, give them down below. You know I'm going to respond to them. And you know over here we argue facts, not emotions, and I'm out.